Okay, let's dive in. When most people think about trading, they picture charts, numbers, maybe algorithms, cold, hard logic. But what if the real game changer, the thing that makes or breaks you, isn't actually the market itself, but what's going on inside your own head? Today, we're digging into something really fascinating. It's based on the work of Dr. Ari Kiev, specifically his classic book, The Psychology of Trading. And our mission here is to pull out Dr. Kiev's insights on, the 10 big psychological mistakes traders often make, the ones that really lead to losing money.
Yeah, and what's striking about Kiev's work is just how universal these things are. I mean, sure, he's talking about traders' high-stakes decisions, but these mental traps, they apply to pretty much anyone making tough calls under pressure. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much of our success or failure is down to our mindset versus, external stuff?
Exactly. So the goal today is to help you spot these traps. Whether you're actually trading or just, say, navigating big life decisions, the idea is you can approach things with a bit more awareness, maybe more discipline, and hopefully, more success. All right, let's get started. The very first hurdle Dr. Kiev talks about is something called overtrading. This isn't just like clicking the button too often. It's trading almost to kill time. Or just to feel like you're doing something, getting some action, and the source warns pretty starkly that this can just quietly destroy your account. But psychologically, what's driving that need to constantly be in the mix?
That's a really key question. There's this feeling, I think, for a lot of people, that being busy equals being productive or successful. In trading, that can mean you're looking for validation from just making a trade, maybe even just a little dopamine hit from clicking buy or sell. But like Dr. Kiev points out, it's about quality, isn't it? Not quantity. Real skill and real profit often comes from being selective, having the patience to wait for the right setup, not just any setup.
Patience. That leads kind of naturally into the next one, which is where things get, really emotional. Revenge trading. So you take a loss and your gut reaction is just anger. You want to jump right back in and get back at the market, make it pay. But Dr. Kiev is really blunt here. He says these kinds of emotional trades often lead to further destruction. It's so easy to react like that, though. When emotions are that high, what's like a practical thing someone can actually do to create a pause, to stop themselves from just reacting?
That's a great practical point, because knowing it's bad isn't enough, right? You need a way to actually stop yourself. Well, one really effective thing is a mandatory cool-off period. Seriously, after a big loss, just step away. Close the laptop, go for a walk, grab some water, anything, even just for 15 minutes. It breaks that immediate, intense emotional feedback loop. That little bit of distance lets your logical brain catch up, so you respond with strategy, learn from it, instead of just raw emotion. Like the book says, in trading, patience wins, not revenge.
That makes total sense, creating physical distance. And often that urge to jump back in, it stems from the next point, fear of missing out. FOMO. Dr. Kiev paints the picture. The market's flying high, everyone seems to be making money, and you just dive in, hastily buy without really thinking it through. And then, predictably, the market turns around and suddenly you're, holding the bag.
How deep does this FOMO thing run? Does it really blind us?
Oh, FOMO is incredibly deep-seated. It goes way beyond just markets. It's almost primal, this reaction to perceived scarcity. Like, if I don't act right now, this opportunity will be gone forever. And yes, it absolutely can blind you. Blind you to maybe better, more thought-out opportunities that might be coming up if you just had the patience to wait and see. Dr. Kiev's advice is simple, but it's profound. Learn to wait. The next opportunity always comes. The insight there is opportunity isn't just for the fastest, it's for the disciplined. Okay, discipline. That's point number 4. Lack of discipline. What exactly does Dr. Kiev mean by this? It seems like it's more than just not having a plan. It's about, setting your own rules and then just breaking them. The warning is stark. Violating rules in trading means inviting loss. Why do we do that? Why set boundaries and then ignore them when we need them most?
Well, that really gets to the core of human self-control, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rules and principles only work if you actually stick to them. It makes you question, are the rules you set real commitments? Or are they more like suggestions you ditch the second things get tough, or an emotion like FOMO or revenge kicks in? When you break your own rules, you basically start undermining trust in your own strategy and in yourself too.
Yeah, I see. Okay, point 5 is confirmation bias. Dr. Kiev calls this a silent danger. This is where you're only looking for the news or the charts that confirm what you already believe about where the market's going. You really want it to move your way, so you filter everything to prove you're right, even if most signs point the other way. It's like creating your own little reality bubble, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's the same thing we see everywhere, right? Echo chambers online, in discussions, people surrounding themselves only with stuff that backs up what they already think. For real critical thinking, whether it's trading or anything else, you have to actively look for the other side, the disconfirming evidence, the stuff that challenges your assumptions. Real understanding, better decisions, they come from being willing to be wrong, not from being certain you're right.
Okay, then there's number 6, overconfidence. You can picture this, right? You nail a couple of trades, things go your way, and suddenly you're thinking, okay, I've got this, I'm a master, I've cracked the code. But Dr. Kiev throws some cold water on that pretty quick. He warns the market quickly teaches a lesson. Every trade is a new challenge. It's humbling.
Absolutely. And you see this cycle a lot. A good run leads to overconfidence, then maybe you get sloppy, take too much risk, and bam, the market reminds you who's boss. It brings you back down to earth. It's a powerful reminder to stay humble, especially when things are constantly changing. The market has this knack for keeping you honest. Staying aware of that keeps you sharp, not complacent.
Right. Let's talk about number 7, fear of loss. Has this ever whipped into you, the listener? You see a good setup but didn't take the trade just because of fear. Dr. Kiev's advice is direct. Control fear, otherwise it will keep you away from opportunities. This isn't saying be reckless, but understanding how fear itself can paralyze you even when things look good. It's a big internal hurdle.
Yeah, what's really interesting there is how fear can stop you cold even when objectively everything looks favorable. And not just in trading, right? In life, career moves, relationships. It's that nagging voice saying, play it safe, hold back. Even when your analysis, your gut maybe says, go. Overcoming it isn't about ignoring risk. It's about seeing it clearly, assessing it rationally, and then having the courage to act when your homework says it's a good bet.
Okay, number 8 is loss aversion. Now, this sounds similar to fear of loss, but Dr. Kiev points out it's different. This isn't just being afraid to lose before you trade. It's about holding on to a losing trade, just hoping it might come back. But as he says, often it doesn't. Set a stop loss and move on. For anyone listening who doesn't know, a stop loss is basically an automatic sell order. If a trade drops to a certain price, it takes the emotion out. Why is it so incredibly hard for us to just accept a small loss and move on?
It taps into something really deep in human psychology, I think. We hate realizing a loss, making it concrete, so we'll cling to the hope of recovery, even if it's a long shot, rather than accept the certainty of a small, manageable loss right now. It's like a psychological wall we built. But the market, well, it doesn't really care about our hopes, does it? Discipline means cutting those losses when the plan says to.
Okay, number 9, chasing trades. This means jumping into the market late after the main move has already happened. Our source says this only makes you a lagging trader. The advice, be professional, don't rush. It sounds like it's about preparation, being proactive, not just reacting when you see everyone else piling in. How important is getting that timing right, based on your own analysis?
Oh, it's critical. And that applies everywhere, not just trading. Being proactive versus reactive. It's about understanding the flow, doing your own homework, having your own edge, and acting on that. Not just getting swept up in the crowd's momentum when the best part might already be over. A professional, as Kiev implies, anticipates. They don't just chase what's already happened, they execute their plan.
Which brings us to the final point, number 10, impatience. And Dr. Kiev sums this up with a really powerful, almost philosophical statement. Success in trading becomes the destiny of those who work with patience. Impatience is the first door to loss.
Wow. In the world we live in now, everything's so fast, instant gratification. How do you actually cultivate patience? Like as a skill, not just a nice idea.
That is a huge question, isn't it? Especially today. Cultivating patience, I think it's a practice. It requires conscious effort. It means learning to tolerate discomfort sometimes, the discomfort of waiting, of not having that instant result, delayed gratification. In trading terms, it means trusting your analysis enough to wait for your specific setup, the one that meets your rules, and then having the discipline to let the trade develop, not cutting it short just because you're antsy. It becomes clear it's not just some virtue, it's actually essential, a prerequisite for lasting success in anything complex where results take time. So wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway here for you listening? We've gone through these 10 psychological insights from Dr. Ari Kiev, and it really drives home his point that The real battle in trading, and maybe in a lot of life, really is fought inside the mind.
Yeah, if you look at the bigger picture, these aren't just mistakes traders make. They're fundamental human tendencies, cognitive biases we all share. Understanding them, really internalizing them, that gives you a massive edge. It helps you shift from just reacting, based on emotion to making thoughtful, disciplined choices. It really is as much about understanding yourself as it is about understanding the market or whatever challenge you're facing.
Right. As Dr. Kiev puts it, these are the 10 mental mistakes that can financially destroy a trader. But the question to leave you with is this. As we talk through them, did you recognize yourself in any of these? In your trading, maybe, or even in other parts of your life, career choices, habits? Just recognizing them, that awareness, that's the huge first step. It turns those silent dangers into chances to learn, to grow, keep that curiosity going.